In order to remain effective in a globalizing world, important decisions had to be made about the future of IHE. They were to be driven by a new director, Wim van Viersen.
We organized meetings with all sorts of people from the water sector, and eventually the idea grew that we should be linked up with a multilateral organization, because the water agenda in itself became an international agenda. And we had the World Water Forum 2 in 2000 in The Hague. And there were a lot of people I could talk to about the ideas of becoming international.
Discussions with various parties intensified. Eventually, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, emerged as the most natural partner for IHE's mission and activities.
During that time, the Director General of UNESCO, Mr. Matsuura, was also in the Netherlands, and he came to Delft to take a look. We sort of hijacked him from the meeting, and he came and he saw the institute, and then he immediately recognized that what Andras Solzhenitsyn called the unity of purpose, because there's this international hydrological program, and there's the IHE, and there's you can imagine a very healthy and productive relationship between the two.
They approached UNESCO proposing that the IHE become UNESCO institute. In our professional jargon, we say Category 1 institute of UNESCO. That means that will form an integral part of UNESCO.
The coming decades will be characterized by an increasing pressure on water resources to cover water demand for health, ecosystems, cities, food, industry and energy purposes. With population growth and continuing pollution, the issue of water scarcity can only be confronted by skilled water professionals and leaders determined to face the challenge.
The supply of water, supply of clean, fresh water will not increase much in the coming years, whereas the demand for fresh water is bound to increase. Therefore, on one hand, we have to make further efforts to get more fresh water. Otherwise, the humanity would be bound to have a very, very serious water crisis in the near future.
The Millennium Development Goals, to halve poverty by the year 2015, have provided UNESCO IHE and many other UN agencies, NGOs and other actors a well-defined context and clear targets to fight against poverty and work to pursue sustainable development. The goal's aim is to reduce by 50% the number of people without access to drinking water. Other targets related to health, food and education won't be achieved without access to clean water. Water and education play a main role in both the fight against poverty and the quest for sustainability.
The Millennium Development Goals, of course, are internationally recognized as more or less as the agenda for sustainable development for the next 10-year period, until the year 2015. There are two of those goals that relate, or two targets within those goals that relate directly to our sector. One is to cut in half the number of people without access to clean drinking water in sufficient quantities, and the second is to reduce by 50% the number of people who do not have access to sewage and sanitation services. I might add as a footnote that just in the last few weeks the numbers are not very encouraging. We're falling short. But our role is to help deliver qualified professionals back to the regions, back to the member states, to address those problems.
I really deliberately made friends with IHE, and together we became very good partners. We could go a long way with IHE. We being where the problems are, and IHE being a university of some very good repute, and the two could combine various roles to provide water for the people in Africa.
I think power is or the partnership with those type of institutions is for two reasons very important. The first thing is that it helps you to have local relevance, local content built into your programs, which is very important. It helps you as a way to refer better back to a local water sector. And as such, so you could call it outreach, you could call it connectivity, you could call it local content. As such, there's a lot of potential to make the programs we have and the research we do much more relevant.
Connectivity amongst partners, connectivity amongst alumni, always building bridges for knowledge to reach further.
Connectivity among the alumni is very important, because we only look at the difference among the countries, but there are a lot of similarities among many of the countries. For example, Bangladesh has similarity, Bangladesh has flood, China has flood, and yesterday I saw on television that in Australia also people died of flood. Sri Lanka has flood, India has flood. So we can share our experience, our knowledge, and indigenous knowledge, which is very useful for facing these floods.
Yeah, I was here as a student in 2004, and this was very important, not only for the knowledge, but also getting in touch with an international group of people and professionals. But then after I finished this 1 year and a half experience, the only way I could keep in touch with all the professionals I met here was through means that technology gives us nowadays, and mailing list is one of them. We always keep in touch with these mails with my friends that I met here, and also the virtual alumni community is a very powerful tool to keep in touch, not only for informal exchanges, but also with forums, online forums.
The new challenges demand capacity building to go beyond the development of human resources. It is necessary to seek a change in attitudes, an increasing awareness of the fact that without capable professionals to manage water resources in the long term, health, livelihood, and even humankind are at risk. Capacity building requires long-term commitment. Success is not measured by quick impacts or fast payoffs, but by the continued enthusiasm and dedication of UNESCO IHE, its partners and its alumni, working arduously to make a difference.